Macabre Coven. We are venomous sin.
And venomous sin declares war on hypocrisy, fake fucks, and the politically correct world that tries to silence you.
We are the band that refuse to kneel.
And stand up for the ones the world tries to silence with fake smiles and so-called status.
You screamed, we hear.
And you are not alone.
Welcome to the Macabre Coven, my little sinners. I'm Lina Macabre, and today we're sinking deep into the rope. Rope bondage, shibari, call it what you want, but at the core, it's all the same. Tying flesh into art, into cages, into prisons, into freedom. Yes, I said freedom. Because if you've ever had rope wrapped so tight you can feel your pulse fight against it, you know exactly what I mean. The rope doesn't just trap you, it liberates you from the boring illusion of control. The article on venomousin.com talks about techniques for safe and effective rope bondage. Great article, useful tips. But me? I don't just want to talk about safety. I want to talk about what the rope does, what it whispers when it cuts into your skin, what it exposes when you can't move, because safety is only half of it. Pleasure comes from knowing the risks and still saying yes, tie me tighter. Safety is the stage, but the performance is chaos. Let's start with the truth most of you won't admit. Rope bondage isn't about knots. It's not about technique. It's about surrender. You can spend years perfecting patterns and pretty diamond harnesses, but if you don't understand the raw psychology of power, then all you're doing is macrame for horny goths. Rope without venom is decoration. And I don't do decoration. When I think about rope, I think about silence. That moment when the last knot is pulled tight and the body stops struggling, not because it can't, but because the mind finally realizes resistance is useless. That's the moment rope turns from hobby into worship. That's the moment where you're crucified by your own desire. And let's be honest, most people want to be tied up because they're desperate to stop pretending they're in control. They play boss at work, they play confident on social media, #lobotomized to hell and back. But deep down, they want someone to strip all that crap away, bend them into shapes, turn them into a piece of meat, a canvas, a toy. Rope is honesty. Rope doesn't lie. Rope doesn't swipe left. Rope says, you belong to this moment and this moment alone. Now let's talk about the art of tightness. Everyone asks, how tight should it be? Too loose and you look like a child's craft project. Too tight and you risk nerve damage. But in between, that's the sweet spot. The line where the rope bites, where it leaves marks that stay for hours, sometimes days. Those marks are love letters written by pain. You walk around the next day with little bruises or rope burns, and nobody else knows. But you know, your skin remembers. That's why rope is addictive, because it lingers. It brands you without ink. It's the opposite of tattoos. It's proof you lived something raw, something unfiltered, and your body carries the memory even after the rope is gone. Let's not sanitize this. Rope is dangerous. It's supposed to be. If you want guaranteed safety, buy a weighted blanket and cry into it. Rope is for those who want to dance with fear, not reckless, not stupid, but fear is part of the thrill. You don't hang upside down for 20 minutes because it's safe. You do it because your body screams at you to stop, and you keep going anyway. That's when you discover who you really are. The article mentions communication, and yeah, that's crucial. But let's be real, most of you are terrible at communication. You think, I'm fine means you're fine. It doesn't. When your partner is bound and their lips say yes, but their body says no, that's where you need to grow the fuck up. Learn to read the tremble in the breath, the twitch in the fingers, the sudden silence. Rope is not just about tying. It's about listening to a body that can't move but still speaks louder than words. I've seen people use rope as therapy. I've seen people cry harder in shibari than in therapy sessions. because the rope brings out what you've been hiding. You can't cross your arms defensively when they're tied behind your back. You can't control your face when the rope burns. Rope laughs at your composure. It tears your mask off and forces you to be raw, and that's why it's beautiful. Some of you are too obsessed with aesthetics, pretty harnesses, Instagram perfect poses. Stop being swasta fashion rope models. Rope is not for likes, it's for scars. Sure, take a picture. Show off your eargasm from the pattern. But the real magic happens when the lights are off, when you're ugly crying into the gag, when your mascara runs like a funeral. That's rope, that's truth. And let's not forget humor, because rope is funny. Don't believe me? Try tying someone up after 3 glasses of absinthe. Suddenly, your perfect diamond harness looks like spaghetti. Suddenly, you realize your partner's foot is tied to their ear by accident, and you both laugh until you cry. That's also bondage. Rope is serious and it's ridiculous at the same time. And that's what I love: sadism with laughter, humiliation with kisses, anal good absurdity that makes you moan and giggle in the same breath. Now, let me fuck with your heads. Rope isn't always about tying others. Sometimes it's about tying yourself. Self-bondage, the ultimate anal tradition of control freaks. It's like playing chess against yourself while gagged. Can you trust your own hands to leave you helpless? Can you set up the lock so you're not crucifucked forever? It's absurd, it's grotesque, and it's hot as hell. But the real lesson here is this: rope is a mirror. If you tie with arrogance, the rope exposes you as a dildo prophet, preaching control while barely knowing how to make a knot. If you tie with humility, the rope rewards you. It becomes an extension of your will, your lust, your cruelty. The best riggers are the ones who don't need to brag, because the rope does the bragging for them. And for those of you being tied, let's stop pretending you're victims. Submissives are the most powerful people in the room. You think lying there, bound and helpless, is weak? Try doing it. Try giving up every defense, every excuse, every anal manual you live by. That takes strength. Rope doesn't just restrain the body, it humiliates the ego. And the ego is a cunt to kill. So yes, be safe. Learn anatomy. Avoid nerves. Avoid cutting circulation. But never confuse safety with comfort. Rope is not about being comfortable. It's about being uncomfortable in ways that turn you on, break you open, and leave you shaking. Rope is about being clickbait gutted by your own flesh. It hurts and it's holy. Before we close, let me leave you with this thought. Every knot you tie, every rope you pull tight is a choice. You're not just binding flesh, you're binding truth. You're creating a ritual, a private apocalypse between you and the body in front of you. Rope is worship. Rope is warfare. Rope is love spelled out in bruises and moans. And if that scares you, good. Fear is where the beauty lives. That's all for today's descent into sin. If you want more venom, more filth, more twisted wisdom, visit venomousin.com. Check out shop.venomousin.com for merch. Find us on YouTube at youtube.com/@venomousin. And of course on Spotify, search Venomous Sin. This was the Macabre Coven. I'm Lina Macabre, your rope-wrapped poison. Stay tied, stay filthy, and remember, submission is power and rope is the knife that cuts you free.
If you like the show, hit subscribe, share it to anyone you think should hear it.
If you ever been silenced, manipulated, excluded, we are here for you. We are Venomous Sin.
And Venomous Sin declares war!
You are not alone.
Venom